It's Monday, and you know what that means. Getting you through another sports weekend and getting you set for one of the best weeks of the entire sports calendar. As we shift to October, that means one thing: playoff baseball. And in Baltimore and Birdland, the Orioles are back in the postseason for the second straight season. Let's just say our guest knows all about playing in the majors, in the big leagues. And we're doing big things here on the Flex Zone podcast. You know we're going to put you on the sports cycle. We got to recap NFL Week 4. Already heading into Week 5. We got an SEC Classic in college football. Big trade over the weekend in the National Basketball Association as the season is less than a month away with the NBA. Of course, we get goofy with Cavante. Certain team down in DC is in first place. And you know we got those picks. Who's in the league? The Monday Night Football doubleheader. We'll talk about that as well. The Flex Zone. You guys know the drill. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. Vote on the poll. How far do the O's go in the playoffs? Let us know down below. It's the Flex Zone Podcast, episode 459. The Flex Zone Podcast, episode 459. And Raj, we can say this week, whooping the competition better than the Raven made those buffalo wings last night. Extra hot with some ranch or blue cheese. We know that can divide everybody. So whatever you like, we love it here on the Flex Zone. We're not going to choose. If you want to do all flash, you want to do drums, we love it all here on the Flex Zone. Something for everybody. But it was wonderful last night. And we're back here getting your sports week started right. But the only place giving you sports how you want it, fellas.
When you need it.
Temporarily running a three-man weave while we wait for our good brother Dre, who's on his way. But remember, Cavante, three-man weave. We don't what?
Don't let that ball hit the ground.
And we don't. We pick it up and take it here on the Flex Zone, episode 459. We got baseball preview. We got MLB playoffs. The field is set. Who will be playing for the World Series? We got to recap the Ravens win last night. A certain team in D.C. is in first place. SEC Classic in college football. And a certain player was traded to the Big Apple. Will it make a difference in the Eastern Conference as the NBA season gets started? We'll talk about it and more. But that lead off, as Dre gets ready to enter the building, is our social media producer, the one, the only, the man who's at every Ravens game, repping the flock, and he's repping the Flex Zone, making the streams pristine. Big Raj, what's going on, man? Good to see you again, my brother. Another big week, but we know how you rock.
No bread, no water, just meat.
Finish him, Daddy.
That's one big son of a bitch!
That's what you said when you saw Derrick Henry last night, right?
No, that's what the Buffalo Bills said.
Right. That's the Buffalo Bills secondary said.
And Lamar was like, "Finish him, Daddy, finish him." But anyway,
Run it off.
That's a whole different story, man. A great weekend. A lot of football was watched. I was there at the game last night. It was wonderful. It was great, man. The Ravens look like they back on track, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So continue on.
Next, he's sitting in the throne because he's in first place and he's loving life. It is the associate producer, the co-founder of this here podcast, the Commandalorian. And we don't even need to go through all the other things because the people just want to hear one song.
Oh, God.
Haters can't stand us. Left hand Commanders. We fight for RDC. Who are we? The Commanders.
Cravante, how are you feeling, my brother? First,
Cloud 11 and a half. You understand me? Like, I don't think y'all understand the feeling of not having a signal caller for so long and looking like we got him. It looks like we hit the jackpot. It looks like Raj, put your damn hand down. But it feels great, man. And I'll talk more about it when we get into the show. But man, it feels good. Feels good. all that.
Last but not least, the tribal chief, the Fleck Zone Messiah himself, the A-lister, the Sultan of Suave himself, Drizzy Dre, my brother. What's going on, my guy?
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, Flex Zone family, man? Just got back in town not too long ago, so it feels good to be home and, kicking it with my boys, man.
Yes, sir. Glad you're back on the show, Dre, safe and sound from your travels. We got a big week ahead, my brother, and we're glad to have you here. But we continue the greatness today here on the Flex Zone podcast. We have an illustrious guest as Dre pops in and out. He is joining us for the first time, and he is a former minor league professional baseball player. He has now a YouTube channel where he does talk about baseball, talks about the Orioles specifically and other topics. And you can follow him at the same channel name, Pigtown Sports, joining the Flex Zone, bringing the knowledge, bringing the know-how, bringing his unique perspective. I've been talking with this brother for a while, love his work. Happy to have him here. He's up late, and he may be in the yard tomorrow bringing that good mojo for the O's. Welcome to the podcast, the one, the only, Zach Moore of Pigtown Sports. Give it up for him, everybody. Zach, what's going on, my brother?
How you guys doing tonight? Appreciate you guys having me in.
Great to have you, my brother. Let them know what's up. Let them know who you are and what your channel is and what you do on that good platform there.
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter, and just basically kind of just break down. I'm a big stat nerd, so I break down a lot of stats, and I kind of go over like mechanical issues that I might see, or minor league reports on certain guys that are doing in and outs. Just kind of anything I can find baseball related, I kind of try and talk about.
Well, let's start at the beginning, Zach. For those who may not know a little bit of your background, your story of you actually playing baseball and kind of where you're at now and covering the game, let the people know kind of your journey and how you got to where you are today, if you won't mind.
Yeah, so I actually grew up right here in Maryland, born and raised here in Pasadena, and I actually went to Dundalk Community College, where I got drafted out of in 2008. I got drafted by the Florida Marlins in the 24th round, I think. Yeah, 24th round. And went down there. I was actually a catcher. They told me I was too tall and too fast, and they handed me an outfield glove when I got off the bus. So I played 2 years there, and kind of I talked with the GM a little bit, and I told him, I was like, hey, I want to go back behind the plate. Like, I see a clear path to move up in this organization behind the plate. They didn't feel that same way I used to run like a 6'4" or something like I could move a little bit. They saw a better path in the outfield. So I asked for a trade, and I went over to the Orioles, played there for just a year. And I think I got up to Aberdeen there, and I had a bunch of issues going on kind of during the season. I felt like every time we went on the road, I had to go to the hospital. Come to find out, I had like some weird hole in my heart that was affecting the electrodes. And I didn't have to retire, but I ended up retiring, just it took me almost a year to kind of figure out what was going on with different doctors and stuff, but I wasn't hitting anyway. So, but here I am. So, I've got a family now. I got 3 kids. I was doing some video game streaming for a little while, and a friend of mine that's like real big in the streaming was like, dude, you know a lot about sports. Like, he's like, I don't want to tell you to give up on video game streaming. He's like, but you could kick off if you did sports. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. So of course, after a year, I finally listened to him, and then the things have kind of skyrocketed over the last year or so. It's kind of grown pretty well, in my opinion.
Definitely. Well, we got you here today. We are literally a few hours away from playoff baseball, literally starting on October 1st. You know about the O's. We know about the trials and tribulations this team had this season, starting high, injuries, not hitting. You just mentioned that. The adversity, getting some guys back, some trades that worked, some trades that didn't work. What do you think about this team's season to win still over 90 games, still be the first wild card, and in my opinion, playing probably their best baseball in a while heading into this series starting tomorrow?
This team, if there was something that could have went wrong this year, it happened. And like you touched on, they still found a way to win 90 games. I don't think you could look at many teams and many organizations that could have went through the injury bug that the Orioles did this year and probably still won 80 games. Yes, we had some games that we've lost late in the ninth. We could have won more, but I think you really have to look at the players overall, how they never quit. They never use an excuse. The next man up. Brandon Hyde held it together. I know we probably all complained about him at least once this year of some decision. He held the glue together. I don't know how. Him and Mike at one point it looked like Mike was just throwing a dart at the board, just trying to find another reliever. He was picking guys off left and right just to get outs. They held it together, and these guys are starting to come back now. You could tell now that it's like a weight off the shoulders, and they just started just playing baseball and having fun again. The smiles came back. I think we've seen a completely different team the last 6 games of the season, and kind of gave you that little bit of confidence going into tomorrow's series.
How do you feel about them not having Batista and the effect of the 9th inning when you said closing game, when you talked about closing games?
Oh, I'm petrified, to be honest with you. I'll be dead honest with you. We tried a lot of guys this year. It looked like it was going to work out in the first half with Craig, and then it didn't. And then, we tried Cano a little bit. We've tried Sir Anthony a little bit. I'm honestly pretty concerned with the bullpen. In September, they were ranked 29th in ERA. It was 5.31.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little scary. I was on earlier talking with Glenn Clark, and he asked me the same thing. He's like, who would you have take the ball in the 9th inning tomorrow? He's like, do you still have confidence in Anthony? I was like, to be honest with you, I don't know. He's walked 5 guys in 9 appearances. Guys are hitting 284 against him in September. Soto's got experience doing it. He's also walked a couple guys. I think guys are hitting 280. Perez has experience, but guys are hitting 325 against him, and he has walk issues. So bullpen, they're going to go as far as this bullpen's going to allow them to go, but I'm very concerned with it. Right now, I feel like the only guy I could probably trust is Danny Coulomb, but we don't know how that elbow is going to feel in a high leverage situation, back-to-back days. I think they're in a bad spot, but they're going to look at situations like, okay, we have 2 lefties coming up here in the 9th and a righty. Let's go. Let's start with Soto. Or if we have 3 righties in a row, we'll probably see Cano or Sir Anthony. I don't think there's any set person in that 7th, 8th, and 9th role like we saw last year when you knew 8th and 9th inning was Cano and Batista. So they're going to try and piece it together, but we'll figure something out, hopefully.
My question is this. So since we're in the wild card, do you think that the Orioles, if they can make it to the Yankees, what are your chances of them beating them?
I mean, they what 8-4 or something like that in the season series, 8-5.
I think it was 8-5.
8-5, yeah. I mean, they played them hard every game. I think at one point they were 6-2 in the series or something like that. If the bats are rolling, I don't think the Yankees are in almost the same kind of situation as the Orioles, where their starting pitching is pretty good. Their back end of their bullpen is very questionable. So if you can get a couple runs out of the starters, the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning are going to be very exciting for both offenses. I don't see why they can't walk into New York and come out and win. They match up very well against them. If you get around Soto and Judge, I mean, they're still good hitters, but they're not Soto and Judge type hitters. You're going to take your chances. I feel like we match up extremely well with the Yankees.
Now, here's another question for you.
Well, before you even answer, Raj,
okay,
I'm sorry to say, I don't think that the Orioles are beating the best team out there, baby. We already know where we going.
Cut him off, Byron. Cut him off, Byron.
You know it had to be one on the show, man.
Who this man?
But before you say any of that, Dre, I just got one more. So how do you feel about this playoff team this year? Judging by what the Orioles did last year, they won one of the hottest teams in baseball, had the #1 overall record, I believe, in the AL, and they were on fire.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they got banged up, they're injured up, but yet they kept fighting, got into the playoffs. Do you feel more confident in this year's team, or did you feel more confident in last year's team? To be honest with you, I'm going to say this. I'm more confident in this year's team because there's really no expectation.
I'm more confident in this year's team because they've faced every piece of adversity that they could, and they've found a way to keep it going. They've won some games close. They've blown out teams. They've been beat bad. They've had injuries. They've had to piece stuff together. They've faced so much adversity this year. Last year, I mean, outside of Felix getting hurt, they didn't really face any. It was just, go out and play baseball last year. Last year, they really didn't have expectations. So they were just having fun, going out and playing, just beating the crap out of people. But what concerned me last year, and I got beat up about even tweeting about it, they were only averaging 2.1 runs a game going into the last 2 weeks. Like I was nervous. I knew nobody else probably was in Baltimore. I was nervous just watching those guys just kind of go through the motions. Like, other teams were playing, they had to win to get in kind of thing. And it was scary. And then you have that week off, you go in there and you're not really performing right. Baseball is not like, it's not, you can just flip a switch and it just works. Like there's a lot of repetitions and stuff. And when something starts to fail and it all starts to fail at once, and it showed in Texas. I mean, Texas was hot, don't get me wrong, but we looked flat. This year, I feel like now that they faced that adversity, they got the monkey off their back, they got in, now they're just playing baseball. They're having fun. They don't have this long break. They get to come back. The crowd's going to be absolutely electric tomorrow. I'm definitely more confident in this year's team than I was last year.
Let me also follow up because the Orioles, for the first time in a while, getting to the playoffs back-to-back years. Do you feel like what would to you be a failure for this team, even though they've achieved getting to the playoffs back-to-back years?
I think the only failure you could look at now is if you just went out and got swept like 12-0 both games, just showed no heart and just got destroyed. If you go out and you lost, 2-1 in the series, you lost one of those games by 1 run, I don't think people can really complain about that. Knowing the type of injuries that they've had this year, if they go deeper than that, like, we were talking about, the expectations are kind of low. Like a lot of people are still hanging on what they did in, was it August, when they just looked terrible. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of waiting to lose and just hoping to win. But October baseball, everything is clean slate. Everybody's 0-for-0 starting today. We'll see.
Can I ask you about the National League before we get to football? Because I do want to get your Ravens perspective.
Yeah.
Is Shohei Ohtani human?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I really don't. You got a guy who's that big. I mean, he's a tall, lanky guy. He throws 97, 98, 99. He hits, he hits a ball 550 feet. He steals almost 60 bags. Like, that's unheard of. I don't think we see a player like that again for at least 20 or 30, maybe 40 years. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah. Now, I know, just to piggyback on that real quick, I know everyone's going to be loving the Dodgers, but who is the biggest threat to them? We got the Padres, but the Padres looks like they're going to have, I think, the Mets. So the Mets are hot. You got the Braves. I mean, who is going to win this National League? Much like with the American League, it's no one dominant team.
Phillies.
There's really not. I mean, I honestly, I like Philly and I like San Diego. Those are my two threats, so to say. Dodgers should win, but we look at them every year and they should win and they don't. It's all about who's hot. And right now, San Diego is just hot. They've been hot for a long time. They're young. They're hungry. They're just playing. Their bullpen is lights out. They might make some noise. They really might make some noise.
The Braves. I'm sorry. The Braves play the Padres, and then the Mets play the Brewers. Are the Brewers any good? They went wire to wire all season. Really no.
They started extremely good. I mean, remember they beat the brakes off of us for 2 games, and they kind of got cold, just like the Orioles did, and then they got hot again, and then they got cold again. Phillies went through the same thing. The Dodgers went through the same. Every team in baseball went through that this year. I don't think a lot of our fans realize that. Is pretty much everybody stunk almost at the same time, and no team won 100 games this year.
Yeah. While we have this graphic up, is there any team that you were that concerns you from where the Orioles bracket is in the AL?
Houston. They've been there so many times. They find a way to win. You know, now Kyle Tucker's coming back. They haven't had him for who knows how long. It's one of their best hitters in the league. They just find a way to just win. It's annoying at this point.
Who plays in the World Series, Zach, before we get to football?
Ooh, World Series. I'm going to go. I want to say Orioles and Padres, but I'm going to say Astros and Padres.
You have that much faith in the Padres, man? Wow.
I mean, Jackson Merrill's my cousin. I got to put a little bit of faith in him.
No. I mean, I respect it because for me, I was thinking the Padres, when they get to the Dodgers, I think I'm giving the Dodgers the edge, and I think it's going to be Phillies Dodgers in the NLCS. And I just feel like it might be Astros Yankees again, but then again, Cleveland is like you said last year with the Rangers. Something about Cleveland that they kind of can give me a little bit of concern.
They got the best bullpen, Dre.
And you can't sleep on the Royals either. So I think that this is just, to me, one of those unpredictable baseball seasons. But then again, it's always like that with baseball, because last year, if you had told me the Texas Rangers were going to go out there, even getting past the Orioles, I would have laughed at you. So
I think the Texas Rangers probably would have laughed at you too. Nobody expected that. They caught fire. I mean, the Mets could catch fire and do the same thing. Like that's the beauty of baseball.
The Diamondbacks beat the Phillies, I think, in the first round, Zach. And the Dodgers lost to the Padres last year, so it's crazy, man. It's going to be a lot of upsets, I'm sure.
Hey,
that's beautiful.
I got one question before we move on to football. We was talking about Shohei Ohtani, and the first thing I thought of was gambling. So I dibble and dabble in gambling. I'm a little bit of I like fast money, quick money. So I'm a nerfy guy. Could be a little bit of a sucker bet. What advice do you have for one who dibbles and dabbles and in baseball bets on nerfies and that, that first inning?
I've never really looked much at betting on baseball, to be honest. Baseball's hard to bet on. It's like trying to bet on golf. You just never know what's going to happen. I would always take you either get the first guy on or you don't. And then that's probably where I would end it. If you could find like a quick prop bet, like over under 1K or something like that, or 2 strikeouts, it might be like a plus 750, like put $2 on it or something like that, But baseball's hard. Corbin Burns could go out tomorrow and give up 3 home runs in the first inning. You're not expecting that. Nobody is. Or he could K the side again. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get. At least with football, like you have a general understanding, like, okay, Ravens are likely going to open up running the ball 3 or 4 times if they play, if they have 6 or 7 plays in a drive. That's a lot easier than baseball, in my opinion.
I have one more question. This is a recent one. With the untimely passing of Pete Rose today, do you think that he'll be put in the Hall of Fame?
I do. It's a lifetime ban. Now that his lifetime is over, rest in peace, he should be allowed to go in, right? That's my understanding on it, at least. I mean, I was one of the best players. I was a generation before me, but one of the best players that ever played the game. Made a very dumb mistake. He lied about it for several years, but you can't take away what he did on the field. He's one of the best guys that ever put a pair of cleats on.
Man, I like that answer that you said that, man. So, and can I follow up as well, which as you talked about Pete Rose, of course, there are a lot of guys from the steroid era. How do you feel about them not getting into the Hall of Fame?
It's a touchy subject because baseball wanted that, and now they like turn their back on it. it's not like, 3 or 4 guys that decided to just tell the whole league about where to go get steroids. Like it was a common thing that I would say over 80% of the league was doing. It ignited baseball back into the fans. And now you just want to, because you got caught by Congress, you just kind of want to turn your back on people. It's a little odd in my opinion. I wouldn't say bring back steroids. I would prefer they go out and find a healing agent, so to say, and allow that league wide. So who wants to go to the ballpark and see an 80% Aaron Judge? I want to see 100% Aaron Judge. I want to see him hit 3 home runs a game. Don't let these guys get sore because it's 162 games. It's going to happen. They need to find a league-wide way to keep everybody on the field. Baseball is at its best when Mike Trout is on the field, when Aaron Judge is on the field, when Ohtani is on the field. The amount of injuries that we've been decimated by across the league this year, to me, hurts the game. Steroids kept people healthier back then. I'm not saying go back and just get everybody, 260 pounds and they can hit 100 miles an hour. That's just kind of scary. But find a way to keep people healthy is my opinion on it, at least.
Well, let's get to football, Zach. Ravens, they decimate the Bills last night, 35-10. Now 2-2, but another big game this week in Cincinnati. But looking at this team's next couple of games, they could potentially go on a run. Maybe they found their identity offensively. Defense looks like Zach Orr's getting the reins in. What did you think about this team coming into the season and through the first month? Surprisingly, already through a month. How do you feel about the Ravens at 2-2?
I like them. I don't think I expected last night. Not many people probably did. And we all kind of looked at the schedule. We probably thought, 12-5 or something like that. Maybe squeak out a 13-4. The offense looks good. I liked hearing some of the national media kind of start to praise a little bit. Monken, in my opinion, was absolutely dialed in last night. We kind of saw him in Dallas start off hot and then kind of, they talked about it, not putting their foot on the gas. I think when they finally decide that they want to just bury teams and not just kind of fiddle-faddle and, play zone and, let's run the ball twice and then try to pass and then punt, they're going to be a good team. Part of me always wonders, and I've been saying this for years, is do they just not show enough when they're playing certain teams because they know a certain length of their schedule is coming? Did we not see against the Raiders? The offense looked boring, in my opinion. It looked very boring. And then you started to see it kind of open up against Dallas, and then against Buffalo, it looked perfect, in my opinion. Buffalo was confused. They were off balance. They didn't know when it was going to be a draw play or when it was going to be a pass play. They had zero clue how to defend Lamar. Now you going into Cincinnati, we haven't even seen a trick play this year. We haven't seen one reverse. We haven't seen a flea flicker. We haven't seen any kind of crazy, route schemes or anything like that. Now that kind of opens up because now Cincinnati doesn't have that on the tape. This offense could get pretty dangerous. It's going to lie on the back end of the defense. Can Marcus Williams hold up? I'm not really sure what they're doing with Kyle Hamilton right now. He seems to be at the line sometimes. He seems to be in coverage at times. It's a lot different than how they used him last year. It's gonna come down to the back end. Can Brandon Stevens, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Williams, the whole gang back there, can they hold up in a shootout? Because right now it looks like the defensive line's getting after everybody, which is great to see. Especially the O-line. The O-line made huge strides since week 2. So
do you feel Lamar put himself into the MVP conversation, and do you feel like now the Ravens have surpassed the Bills as the best team in football?
I've seen a lot of people talking about that today. To me, it's still week 4. Buffalo could have just had a bad game. They're still a great team. They're probably going to go and steamroll the next, 3, 4, 5 teams they play. The Ravens are good. Don't get me wrong. I hate every time we go and say, okay, they're the best team in football, because then I feel like we always lose a game we shouldn't. It seems to happen every single time the national media starts to talk about her. The first time they start saying Lamar's the MVP, then he goes out and has like a interception, a bad interception, or 2 interceptions, or a fumble. And right now, I just want them to play. We know Lamar's likely the best player on the field every time he steps on it. If they're not playing the Chiefs, he looked good. I'm a big Lamar guy. I get in trouble arguing with friends all the time about it. A lot of my friends don't think he's any good. I do. He makes the Ravens go. You can take, and we've seen it, you can take so wide receivers and so running backs, and not saying that everybody was, not great. Dobbins was great and Gus was great, but they're not Derrick Henry, but they made them look so good behind him because he's like just impossible to defend. He's an MVP every time he touches the ball, basically. It's just, every single year he has a chance to win that, especially if Pat's going to keep struggling. He has a chance to win a third one.
And the funny thing about it is he does turn like average players to decent players. Look at it tonight. Look with Tyler Huntley, his former backup. He has Tyreek Hill and Waddle out there, and he can't do anything.
Nothing
So
at all.
That's something that Lamar Jackson is very special at. He makes average players look good. But I think it's great that he has Derrick Henry now. He has another superstar with him, not just an all-star or a regular player. He has a guy that can equal him and take some weight off his shoulders. But my question is this. What do you think is going on with Mark Andrews? Like, I think he's healthy. I think he's moving correctly. He's moving right. Do you think it's just something that is in his head right now? You think he'll get right later on in the season, or what's going on with him?
I don't have too much concerns about Mark. Mark's an all-pro. He's been around doing this for a long time. He missed all preseason, and then he had that car accident. Like, he's still getting his kind of, we'll quote unquote feet under him a little bit, getting his legs going. The drop is, we've seen Mark drop the ball in years past. It's not a concerning thing. It happens, and then we watch him, not drop the next 28 passes. Like, I'm not that concerned about him. Right now, they haven't had a need to force him the ball like we have in years past, which is a good thing, because now eventually, late in the game, now Isaiah Likely's got 2 guys on him, or Zay Flowers has got a guy on man and a guy above him, and in a cover 2 or cover 3, and all of a sudden Mark Andrews is in the one-on-one with a linebacker on a 3rd and 10. That you're going to get a first down all day. So with him being quiet right now is fine in my books, because now the attention is going to go elsewhere. And the Ravens are at the blessing that I don't think we've ever seen this maybe in franchise history, where they've had multiple eyes on the field. Like, before it was, okay, we got to put 3 guys on Mark Andrews. And actually, when I saw it, I watched a little bit of the tape on the Chiefs. Chiefs had 3 guys on Andrews all night. And didn't even play in the preseason, had 3 guys on him all night. You're going to start to see that move to Likely, Zay, Bateman, and then Mark's going to be one-on-one. And even if it's just a 25-yard gain, I can promise you 2 of those catches are going to be 3rd down, because you're never going to take Lamar and the Andrews connection away. Right now, it looks like it's Lamar and Likely, which is great because he's a hell of a playmaker. Mark's going to make a big play here real soon.
Speaking of big plays, what do you think's going on right now with Justin Tucker?
I'm not going to go out and say he's done. I don't think he's done. I'm sure he's probably put extra pressure on himself because he knows he's the best. He knows how good he is. He demands perfection. We've watched it for years. I think we haven't seen any struggles until Sam Cook retired. And I'm not blaming Jordan Stout, but it might be slightly different. Now, they practice every day, and that's all fine and dandy, but you don't have 300-pound men running in front of you, or, corners coming off the edge trying to block it. Like, very minute things can screw up a kick. I kicked for a little while when I played. It only takes a half an inch, and you miss. And that could be the thing. Tucker said it was a mechanical thing. I'm not that concerned about him. I bet you he probably will hit the next 10, and he'll probably hit the next 5 over 50. That's just who he is. He knows when he struggles, he's going to find out what it is, and he's going to perfect it. I'm not that worried about him. Now, if he misses the next 3, I'm going to be really, really worried. But right now, I'm all right.
How do you see this division playing out, Zach? The Steelers started out hot, but Justin Fields probably is going to get benched at some point for Russell Wilson. I just see it coming once he loses another game and has 2 or 3 picks. The Bengals, we can really end them on Sunday. The Browns are done, in my opinion. I think the Ravens could potentially go on a run here, I think. And like you said, outside the Chiefs, they have the second best team, I think, in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you with the Steelers. The Steelers, to me, they're a great defense, but they're a 500 team for how many years in a row now? They can't find a way to get over the hump. Fields is fine. He will get them to 500 again. I don't think Russ does any better for him myself. They're a 9-10 win team, right around 500. Baylor squeak. They'll probably make the playoffs and or just miss. Cincinnati could potentially go to 1-4 against us.
Mm-hmm.
I would still put them ahead of Pittsburgh. We watch Burrow do this every year, and Cincinnati do it every year. They stink in September. And you go back and look at Burrow's career stats. He's like 6-12 now or something like that. He just stinks in September, but then he doesn't lose. Once it starts getting cold, he just doesn't lose. I don't know if that's just him not playing in preseason, because it seems like he hasn't been healthy in preseason in 4 years. I don't know if it's a product of that. But you can't count them out. They're a dangerous team. They got a good offense. Their defense is, they're going to go as far as the defense is going to allow them to go. They're going to get better. I would still say the Ravens win it. I would still put Cincinnati at number 2, even if they dropped to 1-4.
Okay.
Devontae, you want to get in there before? Or got anything?
I was gonna try to go down 95 South. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna let y'all get y'all Raven stuff in. You know what I'm saying? I'm just over here patiently waiting.
Go ahead. Do you think?
All right, gas up the pace of y'all. We going down south. The Commanders, Redskins, Washington football team has been down bad for quite some time. It seems like the newness of everything is going in a positive way. How much of the stench of getting rid of Daniel Snyder positively affected this team, this organization?
4,000%. I think everybody in the league saw it. People didn't like coming to work every day, from the janitors to the cheerleaders to the players to the front office personnel. He just almost like he just sucked the life out of everything. And then you drop that thing with Sean Taylor. That was horrible. It just brought the morale down farther. They're in a good spot now. Josh Harris is good. They got a great quarterback now. I wish they would have held on to Chase Young personally, but it is what it is. I mean, you gotta get those picks when you can, but
yeah,
that would have been fun to watch. But it's gonna be fun. I saw earlier and it kind of bummed me out a little bit. CBS won't release the game for the Ravens and Commanders. NBC offered a lot of money to flex it to Sunday Night Football, and CBS won't get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that would have been 2 straight Sunday Night Football games.
That would have been fun.
That'd have been crazy. Yeah. Short question. Is Jaden Daniels the real thing?
Yes. He proved it in college. He beat good teams. LSU was still good, but they weren't dominant like they were when they had Burrow and stuff. He put the team on his back a little bit. I mean, he throws a tight ball. He reads the defenses very well. He's fast. He's athletic. He's got a lot of moves in open space. You might be looking at Lamar 2.0. Might throw the ball a little bit better too. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out Sunday or 2 Sundays from now. But
Oh yeah. In a couple weeks, man, it's gonna be a showdown. One thing, and these guys know, I've been at the very least, I'll say, at least the last 3 years, I've been concerned about one unit of this Commanders team, and that's the offensive line. I was very concerned. I wanted Jaden Daniels, but I was concerned about putting a young guy behind the offensive line, kind of like what the Patriots are kind of going through right now. They really don't want to put Drake May out there because, well, also his weapons too, but I was concerned about his offensive line. But it looks like we might have hit, even though he's not playing full-time, because him at left tackle, Coleman and Cornelius Lucas are like splitting time at tackle, which is interesting, but it's working. It seems like we got an offensive line, and I've always said, if the offensive line is a top 5 unit in the league, you're probably a really good team.
Oh yeah.
How is this sustainable right now as far as the offensive line play?
I would say so. I mean, Cliff does a good job getting the ball out fast. Jaden will let some things develop down the field and he takes his shots, but Cliff likes to get the ball out fast. He did it in Arizona. That helps an offensive line. And then when you have a guy who's just a freak athlete back there like Daniels and Lamar did it with a bad line for many years, and he made them look good. When you have a guy that can move around a little bit, you can't just send the dogs because he'll just take off. And, if you send 6 and you don't get there, and on his third step drop, he finds one hole.
Yep.
That's 15 yards. You can't do it anymore. So that helps an offensive line big time. And, you couple that with, Cliff likes to get the ball on a third step. And if it's not third step, it's a fourth step. It's just, it's how he's run his offenses from college, even into the pros. And it's why Patrick is so good. Mahomes, the ball comes out fast. They run quick routes. You don't have time to even rush that often. You watch the Ravens when they play them. They try to get back. When he's on his 5-step drop, they get back there. That 3-step drop, they kind of just stand there and try to bat the ball down. Because if you rush, you're just opening up lanes all over the place. You're opening up throwing lanes. It's just Jaden Daniels doing the same thing. It's you can't just send 6-7 guys anymore against Commanders.
Whew. What are you expecting in a couple weeks in the showdown at the bank?
Is it at the bank?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it? Whew. I think you're going to see 25 plus on both sides.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a good game. I don't know which way it goes, though.
Hope so, and hopefully we win.
Yeah, I hope so.
We get you out of here, Zach. Who plays in the Super Bowl? I know what month in.
Super Bowl? I'm going to go with Detroit. And I'm going to go with Baltimore. I think maybe they finally get there.
Not bad. So you're a fan of the biting of the kneecaps? And...
yeah. I like Dan Campbell. I think he runs a good ship over there.
Yeah, on the show, I've been a Dan Campbell guy from start.
He's fun. They pull to him well. They do a real good job with him over there, and he's fired up all the time. I feel like they feed off of him. I don't know if Jared Goff plays well under him. They didn't really play well anywhere else. Got to give him credit a little bit.
Zach, what are you cooking up on Pigtown Sports as we get ready for the postseason and let the people know what type of content you'll be dropping as we got games Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday or Friday? We're getting ready for a trip to the Bronx.
Yeah, I'll probably keep doing like I just did on TikTok the other day. I predicted my lineup. I'll probably do that for game 2 and 3 if I can. I'll definitely do like a if they make it to the Yankee series, kind of like a what to expect. I'll break down the pitching matchups, what they did in regular season and whatnot, how both teams have fared in the second half, what they did in September, bullpen, starters, hitters, you name it. That's the kind of nerdy stuff I get into. I really like to dive down into all the nitty gritties of the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and yeah, hopefully we can talk about it a little bit. It'd be fun to win a wild card series again. It's been since what?
Was it?
We won the first one in Texas, right? And then lost the next one in
2014 was
Toronto.
the last time they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And it was the Royals who swept them. So maybe we get a little bit of revenge.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm waiting on.
Yes.
We might see the Tigers again at some point too. Tigers.
I don't want to see them.
Nope. I'm saying, dude, the pitching matchups on the AL are phenomenal across the board. Across the board. Every team's got very good starting pitching. It's going to come down to whose bullpen can hang out, and we all know what Cleveland's got.
Well, hopefully, Zach, we can bring you back to talk about it after the season is over, and you keep up the great work on your channel. We're going to clip this interview, and I'm going to get it over to you so we can have all your insight and put it on the channel so everybody can see it. But let the people know how to keep up with you one more time in your channel.
Sure. Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all at Pigtown Sports, all the same handle.
Everybody, go show some love to Zach. Follow him at Pigtown Sports. He'll be back on the Flex Zone real soon, and he'll be down at the yard tomorrow. If you see him, say hello. I know he'll say hello back. Zach, we appreciate you staying up late, man. Thank you for the great insight, man. We'll do it again.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
One more time. Zach, thank you again, my brother. Have a good night, brother. Thanks.
Good.
Give it up for Zach, everybody. Big up to Pigtown Sports for joining us once again here on the Flex Zone podcast. Check out his channel, Pigtown Sports, breaking it all down for you, giving you the analytical perspective and so much more. And he played the game, so he knows what he's talking about. And just like here in the Flex Zone, we know what we're talking about as well. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of sad news. We kind of alluded to it with Zach about Pete Rose. We did lose Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose today. Dikembe Mutombo passes away at the age of 58 due to brain cancer, and Pete Rose passes away as well. Quick moment of silence, and we'll get the panel's thoughts on the two. May they rest in peace. Raj, any thoughts on the two legendary sports figures? On and off the field for both, really, you can say. Gone. And your thoughts on the two?
It's one of those days, man, where it's like it's really shocking to hear Dikembe Mutombo passing away. Being only 58 years old, we've seen him a lot, in commercials and on a basketball court throughout our lives, and he's always one of those guys that was, a very fun dude and he was hilarious to me. But he was always one of those dudes that was always smiling and always, doing things for his country where he lived, and just a stand-up dude. It's just wild that he had brain cancer and now it's gone. Pete Rose, that's another one. I don't know, man. I always thought that his case was kind of ridiculous. That the fact that he bettered on baseball and then they just never allowed him to be in the Hall of Fame, although he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. It's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, so what? He bettered on baseball. Who cares? But it is what it is. Hopefully he gets in now that he's no longer here. I still feel bad, for both of their families though, because they lost a loved one. But yeah, man, it was just it just was an unreal day. I mean, first you get Dikembe Mutombo in the morning, and then Pete Rose at night. It's just wild, man. So yeah, that it was a crazy day in sports today, and both of those gentlemen will be missed.
Hey, Dre.
Missed indeed. I mean, you have two Hall of Fame people. I mean, one is in the Hall of Fame, of course, Dikembe Mutombo, and then the other one, Pete Rose, who deservingly should be in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully, he does now get in. But I mean, both legends are totally missed. I mean, Dikembe at 58, and he's passing. You're like, wow. You know, who would think of that? And then, of course, the late great Pete Rose as well. So it's heartbreaking, but a realization that time is of the essence with these people, and we need to cherish them, honor them, respect them while they're here.
Cravante?
Um, wow, yeah, like Roger was saying, that starting off the day with Mr. Mutombo passing was crazy, and he's absolutely been a part of our basketball lives from the beginning, and he's been very impactful on the basketball court, and maybe probably more impactful off the court for him being an ambassador for the NBA and what he's doing as far as doing things for the community and helping people. That's what Dikembe was really about, and very, very unfortunate that he's gone at the age of 58. Can't, man, we say this all the time. Cancer sucks, man, and there's so many different types and ways that it get into your body. And I don't know about y'all. I had no clue. I was not aware of his health condition, but very, very unfortunate. He's absolutely a legend in the game of basketball, and definitely missed. And no pun intended, he had a personality that was larger than life. And Pete Rose, like Dre said, legend, absolute legend in baseball. And baseball is an interesting sport where they don't be playing about the stuff that they like feel strongly about. They really don't be playing about that. Like when they say lifetime ban, they mean that. And I hope Pete Rose will be able to get in. It'll be unfortunate that he won't really be, he won't be a part of the ceremony if that was to happen. But a baseball player that's deservingly so, because how do you get into Hall of Fame? For what you did on your respective court or field, and he did that. So and that should be recognized. But two legends, greatly missed from their respective families and fans and the sport as a whole. Definitely got a crazy double whammy today, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a crazy year for more reasons than one.
Say that again, man. Our end of the year show is going to be epic. A lot to talk about. Pete Rose, the 1973 NL MVP, World Series MVP 2 years later, Major League record for games played 3,562 and plate appearances 890, and longest hitting streak in National League history at 44. He was 83. Dikembe Mutombo was 58, 8-time All-Star, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and first ever NBA Global Ambassador. And an iconic finger wave. Get that weak stuff out of here. They will truly be missed. Let's go to college football real quick before we go back to the NFL, because Dre and Raj down in Tuscaloosa on Saturday night, I think it's only right that we hear a little Roll Tide as on Nick Saban Field, newly named at Bear Bryant Stadium. The Tide showed out. Fellas?
Oh, Cravante, come back. All right, on the count of three, Raj. Roll Tide.
How you feeling, Dre? They got the win over Georgia.
Look, anytime Alabama wins, man, I mean, I'm loving it. But I'm gonna say it's Georgia, made a little bit of a run there, but I think Alabama. I mean, I thought we were going to take somewhat of a dip without the late great Nick Saban, but they keeping that thing rolling, man. I'm loving what I'm seeing, especially the quarterback, Melrose. I mean, just you seeing his growth, his development. So I'm liking what I'm seeing right now out of Alabama, and if they keep it up, we've talked about some other teams, but we can't sleep on them in contention for winning the national championship.
I think right now, them and Texas are the two teams, Greg. With Arch Manning, your
Oh,
boy, who we're waiting to see. Now Alabama number one. Those are the two best teams, I think. Raj.
I don't know what's going on with the mics right now, but we got to mute up every time somebody's speaking because it's like going crazy. I'm not sure what's going on, but um, Alabama's Alabama, man. They played well in the first half. They did the Ravens thing in the second half. I was a little scared. I was like, wait a minute now, what are y'all doing? But they figured it out at the end. They pulled it out. Georgia's no slouch, one of the best teams in college football. But Jalen Milroe, like Dre said, is a really good player. They have a really, really good team. So I'm not really shocked. And of course, even though Nick Saban is not the coach, he was still in the building. So they felt
He was coaching from the box.
Yes, they felt his presence. They looked. They. I'm pretty sure the new head coach looked at him and was like, "Oh, let me fix this real quick." So I mean, it is what it is. Alabama pulled it off, but it's still a long way to go. So I'm not going to say that they're, the favorites or anything. No, it's still a long way to go. But it was a good win for Saturday.
Still a long way to go, like you said, Raj. And 12 teams get in. Cravante, Ryan Williams. That boy only 17 years old.
That's so crazy that you said that, because I was like, that was the first thing I was going to bring up, is that, man, Ryan Williams is 17 and he is a star.
Finger licking good special. That's what I'm talking about.
That was him running from the Georgia Bulldogs. That's what Ryan Williams looked like, man. Georgia taking the lead was crazy. The last five minutes of that game was wild. And Georgia taking the lead. I was like, wow, did they complete a crazy comeback? Bulldogs over there, they were celebrating a little bit. Ryan Williams, what was that? What was that? Did y'all see the two Georgia Bulldog defenders running to each other? It was crazy. I was like, oh yeah, that's a highlight. That is a highlight. And he is a true freshman, if I'm not mistaken, because he's 17. So now he's 17. Gotta be a true freshman, right?
Yes.
Man, he's going to be somebody's top five pick in the next couple years or so. Especially if he goes on the pace that he's going. He just natural. It's natural. You can tell it's natural.
Won't be 18 until next year, Cravante, February.
Wow.
So yeah, okay. So God, when is his birthday? Sheesh.
February 9th, 2007.
Sheesh.
So his birth. So he may turn 18 around when the college football. Oh no, college football would
he'll turn 18 right before spring ball. So he'll be 18 next year as a sophomore, 19 as a junior. So he can go to the league at 19.
Yeah. April, yeah, because April, May will be the draft. Yeah.
So he'll be 20, but he'll be 19 going on 20.
Right. So, and I mean, the way these boys coming from the league, coming from the college to the league at wide receiver, these guys is killing, and he's doing that at 17. At 20, he gonna be the next Marvin Harrison Jr., Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. He's on that level. He'll probably be on that next level a couple years. So this will be another top tier wide receiver prospect, and he probably will be, when his draft time comes, Byron, he could very well be the number one overall player, despite what quarterback happens to be coming out that year. Just like Marvin Harrison was pretty much, the best player in the draft, as far as period. The number one player in this past draft. But yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. And what a game to do it in. And this is probably Alabama's. I don't know. Are they going to play Texas at some point?
I don't think so, but I can pull up their schedule.
because I was gonna say this is probably if you're gonna have a game to show out, this is the game to do it, because this is probably gonna be the hardest team that Alabama goes up against this year. And I wasn't sure if they was gonna play Texas or not.
So they play Vanderbilt next, and then they have South Carolina. They do play Tennessee, who is ranked number 4 at Tennessee. That's coming up.
Oh,
they have Missouri.
That's gonna be something.
They have LSU on the road, number 13. They play Oklahoma on the road, number 19, and Auburn. The Iron Bowl is always tough too, Cavante. Divisional game, rivalry game.
So yeah, this will be make your name. Big opponents, big games. That Iron Bowl, Bulldogs.
I love that everybody's playing everybody too. It's no cupcake games.
Yeah, man.
No cupcake.
Yeah, man. We like that. Like, it's like you can almost predict teams' records, you know what I'm saying, before the year even starts. And now it's like, oh, it's competition. So I like what's going on. And Alabama, it seems to still be Alabama. And that's quite unfortunate, but it's all good.
Well, you know what else is all good? While we wait for Dre, we'll go down 95. We'll stay down 95.
Gas it up the pace, Raj.
They went to Arizona, but it sounded kind of like a home game watching on TV. A lot of Commanders fans in attendance. I thought you might have been out there for a second. They beat up on Kyler. They beat up on Marvin Harrison. Our two guys, Cavante, 42-14, 3-1. Eagles lose. Cowboys barely staying alive. Your first place team in the NFC East.
Solely
Washington
first place.
Commanders alone in first place.
Solely first place. We got to cook something up for these.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up.
That's right. That's right. Come on, to get the champagne on that, my brother.
We probably got to put together a touchdown scorers parlay, because I just knew Marvin Harrison was going to score. I didn't know he was going to score the first one, but his trend seems to be he gets busy early, but he ain't got much late. So it seems like Marvin Harrison is he's finding it hard to stay in games, stay engaged in games. And sure enough, he scored the first, if I'm sure, I believe the first touchdown. But ain't do nothing after that. I think he only had like 4 catches the rest of the game. I was thoroughly surprised with see how things were in the past. If we were to have a game like we did on Monday night against the Bengals, we're for sure losing the next game. Like that's typically how it goes. Like we're going to have a letdown game after having such a great performance that nobody was expecting. A letdown game is coming surely immediately after. And the Commanders went from Cincinnati and then flew right to Arizona. They didn't come back to the DMV. They flew right to Arizona, stayed out there, which I thought was a great thing. Cliff Kingsbury has something to prove. Zach Ertz, maybe not necessarily something to prove, but you always want to get back at your old team. This meant something to Cliff Kingsbury, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Byron, we saw Cliff Kingsbury's house on social media while he was still the head coach, and I think I don't know if he's in that house in particular, but he still owns real estate and property in Arizona. So he still is out there. So I knew this meant something to him. And boy, he coached his butt off. He was like how Todd Monken was last night. That's how Cliff Kingsbury was. I mean, and Jaden Daniels, he looks like he can't. Well, he threw one interception. He threw one interception. But he really don't look like he could do much wrong, man. He had 4 incompletions.
Highest completion percentage for a quarterback through the first 4 games ever.
82%, something like that.
Yeah.
For a rookie?
Video game numbers. Anybody could run. Anybody
Hey,
runs.
Except for tonight, because
any full game.
Jared Goff didn't miss tonight.
Oh, okay.
He went 18 at 18.
Oof. Any 4-game stretch, no matter where the first 4, middle 4, last 4, 82% is it. And for him to be so poised, as a rookie, and it doesn't look like the moment's too big. Like, I mean, Monday night, hostile environment against the Bengals, going up against a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, has a top tier offense. That's one of those things where it's like, all right, he's probably gonna have a rough game, because as soon as the Bengals go up 7-0, all right, here comes the pressure. Didn't matter. Went down there, went right down there and scored again, and scored again, and scored again. Every time he touched the ball, they scoring. This is crazy. We had 19 incompletions in 4 games. 19 completions. And we are scoring. Tressway, our punter, has not had work in in about 3 since I don't think he kicked in the Giants game, because every time we got the ball, we kicked the field goal. So Tressway really ain't had no work in about 3 games. Raj, we talk about easy money here.
Oh yeah,
our punter has not done his job in quite some time. I'm hoping he can still punt. I'm hoping he can still punt at least, because 3 games, he ain't punted 3 games. That's kind of crazy, right?
I hope he's punting in 2 weeks.
Right. So, and our offense, and on top of all that, so we go from one road game to another road game. Offense has absolutely exploded. I can't tell you the last time we scored 30 plus in back-to-back weeks, or in 2 weeks, not even simultaneously, just 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Let alone back-to-back weeks, back-to-back road games. It's kind of crazy. But like I said before, I think offensively, this is surprising. Absolutely surprising. I thought Dan Quinn, being the defensive mastermind that he is, along with Joe Witt Jr., I thought our defense was going to be, flying around, doing the damn thing. And that's not quite the case. They played well against the Cardinals, but I think they played well because they're not on the field. Every time Jaden Daniels gets the ball, they eating up clock, they scoring. Eating up clock, scoring. Jaden Daniels and this offense is doing whatever they want between the 20s. Doing whatever they want. Brian Robinson, we running the football. Offensive line. We had three guys on the offensive line that had top 5. That were top 5 in pass blocking grades. What? And Andrew Wiley was one of them. I got on Andrew Wiley's case last year because he was terrible. Now he talked about, I seen an interview of him in the locker room. He's having a great time. He's having a grand time because he's having fun. And they're run blocking, they're pass blocking, they're doing whatever they want. And this guy right here, number 5, he looks like he's been here before, guys. He looks like he's been here before. The moment's not too big, and he doesn't get too high. You know, he celebrates and does all the little dance. You know what I'm saying? Little dance every now and then. Celebrating, that's cool. But even throwing his pick, he's cool. Doesn't matter. Move goes on to the next play. It's amazing to watch. But the true test is in 2 weeks. That's going to be the true measuring stick about how good this team really is and really can be. Because I don't know if you take a look at our schedule, Raj, right there on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Past Lamar and the Ravens, we don't see no elite quarterbacks the rest of the year.
Well, it's going to be I ain't going. Well, the Giants no. The Bears is interesting though. The
That's gonna be
Eagles,
that's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be fun.
yeah,
But I'm saying like elite level quarterback out past Lamar. Ain't no elite guys.
yeah.
Not at quarterback.
Oh, so you're taking Jalen Hurts out of the elite and Dak Prescott out of the top 10?
Who? Wait, I'm sorry.
I was saying you're taking Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott out of the top 10, or you're.
Well, top 10. I'm talking about elite. Top 10.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. My fault.
You got muted every time you talk because you're the one who's has an echo.
Okay.
So I'm saying like, because there's gonna be some guys that are like top 12, top 10 by default because it's not that many elite level quarterbacks. But past Lamar Jackson at the Ravens, I like my guy against everybody else. Even my number one guy who's from DC, Caleb Williams, he's not playing well right now. They gotta win, but he's not playing better than my guy right here.
True.
I'm just saying, as a quarterback matchup, I like my guy for the rest of the way. I'm not saying we go undefeated or nothing like that, but I'm just saying I like my guy moving forward, post week 6. You know what I'm saying? So, but now our defense going to be the Achilles heel. Is going to be the Achilles heel. We may see ourselves the way the offense is going. We may see ourselves in quite a few shootouts this year, but I think our defense will get better as time goes on because Dan Quinn is going to figure this thing out. Joe Witt Jr. is going to figure this thing out. Defensively, I just need Cliff Kingsbury to keep calling these plays, getting the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands because Jaden Daniels is making the right decisions, whether it's running, going for his first read, second read, third read, which is let me know and everybody else know that he's reading defenses. So, at this, as a rookie, I'm very, very excited. And Byron, I remember we talked about it before. I think the Commanders could go as high, could be in second place. I was saying at the beginning of the year, but now we got a shot, yo. We obviously we got to play the Eagles and actually got to play the Cowboys, but we got a shot with this guy, man. We got a shot.
Definitely got a shot in a favorable schedule as well, Cavante. So we'll see what happens. And in 2 weeks, the matchup of 95. It's Monday, so my guy is back. He wants to talk baseball a little bit. He did slide his Giants last week. We got to go up to New York real quick and bring in my boy, the one and only Long Island's finest. Dylan, what's going on, brother? Welcome back to the Flex.
What's going on, everybody? How'd them Giants do last week? How'd them Giants do? Fucking trash, right? Absolute dog water.
How you feeling, bro?
Absolute dog water. I got 2 mud hole stompings from Cowboys, from the punter and the head coach. Absolutely disrespectful. The whole entire season is absolute dog water. You guys are gonna have an easy victory against us. I don't even think we're even gonna play. We're probably just gonna give you the game. First quarter.
We're gonna whoop your ass.
Daniel Jones, he's a fucking dodo bird. He don't know what the hell's going on. He don't even know that he's playing in football. He thinks he's playing touch games or something. He's washed, absolutely washed. We need him out of that organization immediately. But how about them Yankees?
Oh, here you go. There was dread.
But them Yankees, listen.
Oh God.
Listen. New York might not have the greatest football team. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Since Eli retired and the Jets are starting to show somewhat of life, it only took 40 years. But at least now they're starting to show some form of life with Aaron Rodgers. There's no football team no more in New York. The Bills are the only team that's ever carried us anywhere. All right? The only team in New York that's carried us anywhere. But the Yankees, they've always held New York on their back. And now they hold Brooklyn on their back. I'm feeling a number 28 World Series victory here, to be honest with you. Listen, all we got to do is we got to get Aaron Rodgers a couple of wins, on the Jets side of things to make football seem somewhat interesting to Jersey. We kind of got a Hulk Hogan situation, if I may, with the Yankees to get them past the playoffs into the actual World Series card. Couple of shots here and there ain't gonna hurt us. We've done it for 27 World Series championships. One more is not gonna hurt. You know what I mean? So, listen, I'm excited. The Mets also clinched, which is really exciting. They won today against the Braves. The Braves, I believe, also clinched as well, and then Detroit clinched as well. So that, I believe, is going to be our first team that we're facing. That we're going to be facing first is the Detroit Tigers, which ought to be good. I think that's going to be a nice little setup, a nice 3, maybe 4 games possibly going into the later season of the playoffs. But I'm happy. Listen, finally New York's doing something. Right now we're just running around with our heads cut off because of the Jets and Giants. But at least the Mets and the Yanks are doing something, What do you guys got to say? I see one of us already in here with a Yankees hat on. He likes to win a winner.
Yes, sir. Number 28. Let me turn that hat around.
There you go. Listen, I like winning. All right. And as a New Yorker, that's all I like doing. So the rest of the season, it might be dog water for the rest of us. But at least the Yankees, there's a shot. The Mets are going to choke, but at least the Yankees might actually have a better shot than they normally do.
I'll just say this with the ass whooping we put on Buffalo.
Yeah.
The Jets might have a chance to win that division. We'll see. They lost yesterday. Granted, It was raining outside. Aaron didn't look his best.
I don't want to hear none of that because he played in snow. He played in hailstorms. All right. Perk Rogers played in hailstorms.
Yes,
all right. Like, I don't want to hear, it was raining outside. The ball's slippery. Tough shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's like spring training to Rogers in rain. All right. Like, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that, Roger. I don't want to hear none of that. It was raining. The shoes were so wet. The grass was slippery. I don't want to hear none of that shit. He's played in 7 inches of fucking snow. The snow was up to his kneecaps, and he still was throwing touchdowns 60 yards, all right? In Green Bay, where all they ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner was cheese, all right? Like, that's it. There was no excuse for them to lose that game. We lost by a fucking 5 points, all right? I would have just told the rest of this team, let's just quit the rest of the season. We'll come back next year. Let's get Daniel Jones out. Let's get a new head coach. We'll maybe take some of the people from the Mets, train them to be football players. At least they might have a better spine in their back and play some actual games like gentlemen. All right. And not play like ladies out there like those absolutely disrespectful Giants did to me this year. All right. Come on. There's no excuse. But at least with baseball, there's a glimmer of hope. There's a bat signal somewhat up there right now, shining somewhat bright in Gotham as the Yankees are trying to get at least past the playoffs into the wild west of the World Series.
We'll see, man. But at least Malik Neighbors look good. I mean,
that's nice. He's always looked good, even when he wasn't getting a ball thrown to him. He looked good in blue. He looks good running in practice. He looks good bringing the water to the water boy. Like, he looks great. You know what I mean? Like,
he looks great on my fantasy thing.
Taking his laundry to the laundromat. He looks great. But, like, I like to see something come of that. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's out there playing with his helmet on backwards. I don't know what's going on. I've never met a quarterback so blind and so clueless than Daniel Jones.
I have. His name was Kyle Bowler.
All right. Well, maybe there's 2, but this guy's pretty bad. I mean, this is sad.
You want DeVito still, right?
I listen. If we don't put DeVito in for the rest of the season, cancel the Giants as a football team. Honestly, like, at this stage of the game, just cancel them as a football team. They're only allowed to play in preseason. They're never allowed a regular season unless we get Arch Manning or DeVito. Hell, put Locke up there. You know what I mean? Let Daniel Jones wash some cleats for a couple of weeks. Let him clean the jock straps. Let him inflate the footballs. Let him do something of value for 4 years. Then be on that field and be as disrespectful as he's been doing for these past few weeks. I mean, he hasn't even scored a passing touchdown. Okay?
Just wait till he sees Jaden Daniels. It's going to be really
wait till he sees Berkeley. Saquon Barker. Okay? Seriously. The Eagles are going to come in there and they're going to spit in Daniel Jones's mouth and be like, welcome. This is my home. All right? We're going to have no chance. That guy, Saquon, is going to run backwards, staring Daniel Jones on the bench for touchdowns. He is not going to let Daniel Jones touch that field at all. It's absolutely going to be a slaughter.
I hope so.
Slaughter.
Please let
But the
it be.
Commanders are looking good. 3-1. They're starting to heat up. Their defense is looking stronger by the minute. They're looking really, really good going into week 5 right now. Like, I'm very excited to see what Washington can do. I know. C was just saying that Quinn looks like he's been here before, kind of seeming a little more comfortable than anything. But I don't want that comfortability to set in on someone like that going just to week 5. I see that week 9. Okay, cool. Get a little more comfortable. You're coming closer to the end of the season. You can kind of start showboating a little bit more, taking those press pictures and whatnot. Now, you're showing that now as like you just won tickets front row to Taylor Swift, and then you realize you're in the back outside the building watching on the Titantron, and you paid $5,000 for her busboy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you gotta wait. You gotta wait. Wait a little bit. Give us a couple of weeks before you start showboating and be on Sports Illustrated. All right, like it's a little too wild. But hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's football season, baby.
Dylan, you're back up and running on your podcast. You did a watch along tonight, Raw.
Yep.
You want to let the people know what happened? Anything good? We got a big return, and what you got going on this week?
So yeah, we got Seth Rollins. Sethy boy came back, which was nice to see. I'm happy that he's back. Honestly, the two matches that really stuck out to me tonight was Gable and Kofi. Kofi and Gable, I need to see that one more time. Like, Gable's work, his selling work, his spot placement was fantastic. He literally let Kofi shine in this match. Even though he got the win in the end, he still let Kofi do really, really, really big numbers and big moments. And I think that's definitely a match to watch over again and to study. And Kofi, for his age and how long he's been doing this for, is exciting to see that he still has that ring awareness and wherewithal to wrestle at such a high caliber that he's always been held to, at least for our standings as we've seen him throughout the years. So I would definitely say that's a match you have to go see. The promo between Punk and McIntyre was great. That was very exciting to see. Lyra Valkyrie and Zoe Stark was very cool to see. Seeing Sonya back in the ring, taking a spot, was very nice to see her back after her wedding and everything else that's happened. So I'm happy to see her back in there and doing her thing. The biggest disappointment was no Waffle House celebration. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I wanted Mommy. I wanted Waffle House. I wanted the IC champion eaten all over the damn place, and we got none of that. So that was a little poor start to Monday Night Raw. But nonetheless, we got what we got. Overall, the show was like a good 3.5 out of 5. There was definitely some cool moments and stuff overall. Nonetheless, it could have been a couple of better segments, better moments. R-Truth and Miz don't seem to be getting along anymore. Maybe he's upset that he wasn't in the Shannon Sharp video, but whatever. It is what it is. We'll see how that plays out going forward. But no, man, I appreciate it, Byron. Yeah, we started back up tonight. We're all watch along. That was tonight and everything. I'm very excited to have that going back on. We got Dynamite coming up on Wednesday, the 5-year, and of course SmackDown. Byron will be joining myself this Thursday over on Long Island Wrestling Podcast for none other than the Bad Blood predictions. Because, of course, this Saturday is Bad Blood, and we got a lot to talk about. And then, of course, Sunday, we're going to be bringing back the podcast version of things. I'm going to be kind of going over the show, what the direction's going to be, some new stuff that we're going to be covering, as well as some quick thoughts of where I feel the wrestling world is heading to, and, of course, the review of Grand Slam, the 5-year, and Bad Blood. So it's going to be exciting. I have a lot to say for sure. I'm keeping it all in the notes for right now and a little snippets here and there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Are you joining us for NXT and the vice presidential debate tomorrow?
No, could give a shit less about either one. Sorry. Yeah, no, don't really care about either one. Not at all. Never been an NXT guy, and I know nothing what's going on with politics, so I would be absolutely useless in the box to be sitting there seeing what's happening between two jabronis. I'm good. I'll catch the highlights on TikTok. That's what I'm excited for, is the highlights and the memes that will follow suit. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Always good having you, brother. Check out his channel. It's down below. Last Long Island Wrestling Podcast. My brother Dylan, I'll be on your channel Thursday, man. We're going to do what we do, man.
Oh, yeah. We are.
Thank you, brother.
We're going to kill it.
Get some rest, brother. Don't work too hard tomorrow, and we'll see you. Will you be on with us Wednesday, or are you doing your own thing?
No, I'm going to do my own. I'm going to do my own Wednesday. I'm going to start doing a lot more solo streams for the week and stuff like that. But pay-per-views, if you'll have me, I might join you for pay-per-view watch-alongs and stuff. So that might be something that we'll continuously collab on throughout and whatnot. So we'll bring the scarf out for those days. The real heel turn will come on the pay-per-view nights for sure. For sure.
Dylan, we appreciate you, brother. And we'll see you this week on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
You too, Dylan. Thanks, man. Always a pleasure.
Bro.
Later.
Dylan, once again, back on the Fred Jones podcast. This past weekend, I got to get to this before we get to the rest of the NFL. We had a big trade in the NBA, Raj. Your boy, Big Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, goes to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. The Knicks going all in. They already got Mikal Bridges. They did lose Hartenstein. Mitchell Robinson is banged up, but you get a big in Cat. You got Jalen Brunson. Like I said, Bridges, you got OG. They gave him a max deal. Raj, the Knicks are going all in. Still got Josh Hart.
At first, I didn't like it, but after I really thought about it for a couple of days.
Play 2K with him?
No, not even 2K. I think it's a good move for the Knicks. Granted, Julius Randle did average more points, was there for about 3 or 4 years or so. I don't know. I ain't gonna say he wasn't a good piece for them. He was a good piece, but I felt that he just didn't have the umph. And Cat is the same way as Julius, but I think the difference is Cat has a better jump shot. Cat can make threes better, and if pushed hard enough, I think Cat can be an even better player. And I think with the combination of Jalen Brunson and Tom Thibodeau, I think Cat can be a way better player in New York than Julius Randle. And I just think that this is probably the time that Cat is going to. I know he wasn't feeling it at the beginning. He was like, "What's going on? Why am I getting traded?" And it's going to take some time, but I just think he's going to be even better in New York than he was in Minnesota. But now for Minnesota, I think that's a great trade for them as well, because Julius Randle, like I said before, he can pretty much do everything that Cat can do. But also to get DiVincenzo, another 3-point shooter, which they need. They already have Naz Reid. He's already there. They have Mike Conley, who's already there. They have another big and Rudy Gobert, who can pretty much just play in the paint. And Julius Randle can, do everything else around that. And then you have Anthony Edwards, who's a complete monster. So I think it's an even trade for both teams in both conferences. So It's not bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I think Minnesota getting DiVincenzo, like that is a really huge get because 3-point shooters are very rare. I'm not gonna say they're very rare, but really good 3-point shooters are very rare. And he's a really, really good 3-point shooter. So that's a good trade for both teams.
Where do you see New York ranking in the East now, Raj? Does this make them better than Boston, better than Philly, better than Milwaukee?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I think they're number 2. I think they're better than Milwaukee. I think they're better than Miami. I think they can be a number 2 team. Now are they better than Boston? Hell no. No, I'm not gonna say that they're better than Boston. Boston still has that starting 5 is crazy. That starting 5 is insane. So no, they're not better than Boston, but I think they can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with this lineup because they have enough defense and they have Cat. So I think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Can they beat Boston? No, and unless something happens, somebody gets hurt or whatever. Nah. Mm-mm.
Go ahead, Dre.
Like Raj, I think that for New York, this is a good trade, but for Minnesota, I still have some questions, especially on a year when Ant-Man was on the uprise, and he liked Cat a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see him without Cat and how this team moves forward, not having Karl Anthony Towns there. But the Knicks, they needed this kind of move. You needed a big who could score and spread the floor. Julius Randle was good, but I think that his time was kind of getting up there anyway. So I think that at least for the Knicks is really a good trade, and it remains to be seen about the Timberwolves.
Pravante, I know you've been hard on Cat. How do you feel about this trade?
I'm concerned about him being able to have. Okay, so I don't think Cat has thick skin. He's going to the biggest media, arguably in the world, in New York. So when they are not playing well, will he be able to pull himself out of whatever rut? Because the season's long. You're not going to play well every game. You're going to have a stretch where maybe there's 4 or 5 games where you're just not, it's just not it. And the New York medium, the New York media is going to kill him. Is absolutely going to.
Is he still with that same woman, by the way?
Jordan?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Well, it'll work out for her, but not him.
Not getting into that, but so his and it's gonna be a little bit harder to keep your personal life under wraps too. But as if keeping it just basketball, I think that this is a good pickup for New York. Another big man that can stretch the floor. Who can't use that? And I think Cat can be able to help be that piece. And I agree with Raj that I don't think New York is on Boston's level. I think it's a nice little gap between Boston and everybody else, honestly. But he can help push New York to the Eastern, to the Eastern Conference, and be that extra person along the way. They gotta get them not necessarily over the top yet, but they can compete. And New York was competing last year, but he could give them an extra, extra oomph. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned about his thick skin. Will he be able to survive the New York media? Now to Minnesota. Minnesota was crazy last year. Minnesota was really crazy last year. But when it came down to crunch time, it was Ant-Man or bust. Cat wasn't really, he wasn't consistent. Let me say that. Let me say he wasn't consistently showing up because he wasn't consistently showing up. And when you're the number 2 guy, you got to be ready. You have to show up because it's all eyes on your number 1 guy. So that means it's on you to pick up, the slack where number one may be falling off, or number one may not be able to, whether he's not playing well or whether he's being double teamed, whatever. But if you're number two guy, you need to be ready at all times. Now, he's going to another situation where is he the number two guy? Because we all know he's not one. But if he's that 2-3 guy, he's pretty much in the same position. But now you got a little bit more offensive weapons in Genzo and Julius Randle. It's not Ant-Man or bust, because Julius Randle could get a bucket, and DiVincenzo is another 3-point shooter. So the offense doesn't stall in Minnesota now, because we it shows your biggest flaws show up in playoff games. We saw how Minnesota ended up crashing and burning when they really needed a bucket, and Ant-Man was tired for playing 1,000 minutes, or the defense locked in on him. Minnesota was flat offensively. So I agree with Raj. Thinking back on it, I really didn't like it at first, because I'm like, Cat's soft. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to survive New York. But with Thibodeau, maybe Thibodeau can instill some, toughness a little bit more in Cat. And Minnesota, coming off the great year they had, improved themselves offensively, which I think is good. Both teams really improved offensively, if you ask me.
Real quick, Dre, I know I wanted to, before we get to the scores, anything on the Ravens, Dre, from the game yesterday that you wanted to let the people know, Dre? Before we get to the scores.
I think that if the Ravens continue this, they'll show that they are right there with the Chiefs, and can be the second best team in the NFL. Lamar Jackson on a way to another MVP. It seems like overall, just dog smacking. His opponents. I'm anxious to see how they do at these next stretch of games. I don't want to crown them, like our guest had said earlier. You say the Ravens are doing good, then they do something dumb like lose to Cincinnati. So let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep it moving and see what happens. So because it's only the first month, and we've seen a lot of surprises within that first month.
Roger, anything before I get to the scores?
I'm not sold yet. I mean, everybody today, all the media pundits was praising us. Oh, it's first take. Oh, they're the best team in football. No, I'm not going down this road again. We've been there, done that. We've seen the story before. I just need to see more. I need to see more consistency. I need to see what they do next. Granted, I do like what they are trying to do with running the football with Derrick Henry and going through the run, but we all know that they're going to have to pass more, like I said in last night's post-game show. So let's see what they do with that. But they got to be more consistent, and John got to get out of his own way. He will be the downfall of his team if they lose. It won't be because of Lamar or Derrick Henry or the defense. It'll be because of the head coach and him being goofy. And we just don't need him to do that. We need him to be smart and not be goofy at the wrong time. So as long as this team is healthy, they'll be fine. But like I said before, I'm not going to get all hyped up, and especially if they win a bunch of games to make the playoffs. They got to be consistent. They got to stick with the game plan. Don't go away from the game plan and play their style of football and their brand of football. And then maybe, just maybe, they can get to the promised land. But like I said before, I'm not going to get too excited.
Kavante, any thoughts on the Ravens before we get to the scores?
It seems like things are right. Things are finally right with Baltimore right now, because going into that Dallas game, it was concerning. It was concerning, but it seems like the Ravens are back on track after stumbling out the gates at 0-2 and getting back to 2-2 and putting a shellacking on Buffalo at home, and in beatdown fashion. Was like, all right, we're back, and this was y'all best team. This was y'all so-called best team in the NFL, and the Ravens seem to do that all the time. Every time there's a presumptive like best team, the Ravens find a way to just dog walk them. And everybody except for the Chiefs. But any team, because I remember the 49ers when the 49ers were world beaters, and then the Ravens destroyed them, and the Brock Purdy MVP mess went away. Now, the best team in the league and the leader for MVP, Josh Allen, did not look like that. Now, granted, it's one game. They're 3-1 because they were undefeated. But something about the Ravens, the Ravens had that ability to do that to teams and do that to people. And, with that potential, that's a potential Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? It seems like things are back the way they're supposed to be.
Let's get to the scores. Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. Young Ho Koo, our favorite kicker, because we love the Young Hoes.
What's that boy name?
It's the Young Ho Koo. Young Way Koo is the Young Ho Koo. Nails a 58-yard game win of the Falcons. Didn't Falcon. They pull out a win. 26-24. First place. Well, yeah. Tied for first. Well, they're right behind Tampa for first. They play this week. Bears get their first win. Well, second win. Caleb Williams plays well. 24-18 over Dre's. And here these starts. Rams. The Vikings are 4-0, guys. Real quick. Are the Vikings for real?
We'll see. Yes.
Yeah, like I said, like Rod said, we'll see about them. Not ready to crown them yet after the first month.
Man, I'll say this: defensively, I think they are. I think they're that with Brian Flores running that defense. And don't get it twisted. I don't think that game. Don't look at the score as indicative of how the game played, because as you can see, the Packers put up 22 in the fourth quarter, which is kind of crazy. But that's kind of a little taking your foot off the gas a little bit. But through 3 quarters, 7 points is kind of tough. But I think defensively they're real. I think Sam Darnold's going to come back down to earth soon. That's my reservation.
Colts win behind Flacco, 27-24. Justin Fields' first loss, and just Anthony Richardson hurt again.
Is that what happened?
Yes,
that's unfortunate. Because I saw Flacco through 2 seconds. So let me tell you something about this game. I bet that this game would go under, because most Steelers games have. And then I see Joe Flacco threw 2 touchdowns. I was like, who called him? Why is he in the game? And Joe Flacco's the reason why I lost. Because I
think the goofier thing was Anthony Richardson got hurt, left, came back, then left again, got hurt.
Oh! No. What happened was he came back and then they did a running play, and then he slid, and then they was like, "No, you're not."
He's like, He said,
Like, why would you run? While he was running, why would you run the football again with him? Just whatever.
Broncos beat the Jets 10-9. That Broncos defense, guys, it's for real. And Bo Nix, Dre, he got it done, man. He don't threw for 60 yards, but the defense, man.
I still need to see more out of the Broncos, but I mean, like you said, Bo Nix, they got a good defense, but still some questions over there. And then Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, hopefully it won't be raining slippery the next game.
Falcons and Buccaneers play this week. They beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles are 3-8 in their last 11 games dating back to last year, including the playoffs. So not very Eagle-like. Bengals beat the Panthers, get their first win 34-24. Jamar Chase seems to be just fine. Texans, Cravante, they got a win over the Jaguars, and Tony Khan is 0-4. Him and his dad, Raj, they just can't win.
Yeah, they can't win. And they came into the season thinking they had a good team, a playoff team, and they're saying the same thing about AEW. You have a great roster, a playoff roster, but
a good quarterback.
and a new quarterback,
Good quarterback.
for both franchises and both organizations, but they're still shitting the bed. Go figure.
I'll say this real quick, and we'll park here, and you guys can chime in, and we can even talk about it later. There are rumors. Now, this is what the streets are saying. I don't know how legit. This is just listen in. That maybe they go after Bill Belichick after the season. Don't know how much smoke or fire there is to the rumor, but Bill Belichick, he lives in Florida, has a quarterback. The Cons have a lot of money. Just what I've heard in the streets, guys. Just put a pin there if you want to talk about it.
I'll say this: if they do get Bill Belichick, one thing is going to happen for sure. Trevor Lawrence is cutting that hair. That's it. No more than that is.
No, Fabio is not cutting his hair.
You damn right. He won't.
I think in order for that to happen, because Bill Belichick is not stupid, Khan is going to have to relax. Just like I thought that Bill Belichick, remember that rumors about the Cowboys? Like, just no, they're not. Because Bill Belichick is going to want power, and he's going to want say-so. And there are some owners who I don't think are going to give up that power just because they've always had it, or they just don't feel the need to do so because they're impulsive. And I think Khan is that. And I don't think he's going to con.
Yes, both of them are. They are, yes.
Right. And I don't think Bill Belichick is going to be conned into taking this job. All pun intended. I don't care. But
it's something to keep an eye on, guys. Maybe in the offseason it might get more steam.
Sure. But but Khan is going to have to change his attitude. And billionaires, that's one thing they don't really do. Change much of their attitude.
Let's just say we've been watching the Cons for 5 years, and they have not changed a damn thing.
And he still looks like Mario. Well, Shad Khan does.
Commanders beat the Cardinals 42-14. 49ers spanked the Patriots 30-13. Speaking of Bill Belichick, Raiders, go ahead, Dre, say it. They get the win over the Browns. I was waiting for your Raiders.
Oh,
but Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-7.
I mean, after that victory, yeah.
Rasheed Rice still had a 20 ACL, by the way. Ravens beat Bills 35-10, and it was a Monday night doubleheader.
The dumbest thing Patrick Mahomes ever done. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Lions beat the Seahawks 42-39, and Titans get their first win over the Dolphins 31-12. Tyler Huntley starting, but yeah, they said he's going to get a second opinion, but feared to be a torn ACL. But Patrick Mahomes ran into him.
I mean,
do they go get a receiver? Do they go make a trade for a receiver?
Yes, they will.
You said it's karma.
It's karma. It's karma because his ass should have been suspended for the beginning of the year.
Oh, because he was being a goofball.
Yes, he was crashing cars, drinking and driving, and he walked away from the scene, and the league didn't do anything about it. They allowed him to play week 1 against the Ravens and destroy us. And now this is karma. This is what you get for your efforts. Now, I'm not saying I wanted this to happen because I did not want him to get hurt. But since you want to be a goofball and not get suspended, your season might be over.
Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? Had you not played, you would be just coming back from suspension or another 2 games, and you'd be okay. But you got hurt, and your own man hurt you. Nobody else hurt you except Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
Go figure.
Wow.
Karma's a bitch. Yes, it is.
You got a game ball, not so game ball, Rash?
I do have a game ball and a not so game ball. My game ball has to go to my main man, Derrick Henry. Oh, Bo Derrick Henry was running wild yesterday. His dreads was flying all over the place. He was throwing dudes off. Big son of a bitch! Yes, Pat Mac and Cheese. He was one big son of a bitch yesterday, and he was running through people. He was fantastic. My not so game ball though, it has to go to and I hate to do it. I hate to do this, but my boy, man, Mr. Love, man. I mean, I granted now, I know, right? I mean, he was just coming back from being hurt, and he did his best. He did his very best, but his best just wasn't good enough. You had 3 interceptions, man. You had 4 touchdowns, but you had 3 interceptions, and you cannot do that against your arch rivals, the Minnesota Vikings. I love myself some Mr. Love. I do. He's fantastic. He's great, and he'll get it together. So, but I just had to tap him. Had to give him a love tap, man. Literally a love tap. Get yourself together, baby. You're the only person I have on fantasy right now. On my fantasy team in D's league, that gives me a lot of points. I need you not to turn the ball over. Please don't. But those are my game ball and also game balls. Bo Derrick Henry, dreads flying all over the place. That big son of a bitch. And Mr. Love, who just happened to have 3 interceptions. It is what it is. And 4 touchdowns, but what can you do?
Speaking of dreads flying all over the place, go ahead, Dre.
I'm gonna give my not so game ball. It's, you know what? This is all from the same game. No. You know what? No. It is. My not so game ball is gonna go to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know what in the world is going on with Philly, but they seem to be still in the same place that they were last season. You see Jalen Hurts is starting to come out even more. You just see he's just totally frustrated and over his head coach, and they're just not right now on the same page. And then I want to give my game ball to the Buccaneers. I don't know what in the world Tom Brady said to Baker Mayfield, but that boy looked like the second coming. He came out that joint running touchdowns, throwing touchdowns. I mean, Baker looked good, y'all. I mean, I thought the NFC, you know, we talked about like the Falcons, but I mean the Bucks, the Saints, they have some other teams in the NFC right now in that division that are looking really good. So it's not just solely one team, but they're doing their thing. So I gotta give it to Baker Mayfield.
Good, Gravante. Start low, and high.
I'm not sure where this blame goes, and I'll get into this a little bit later in goofies. But Cleveland, man. Cleveland does not look good. Deshaun Watson, things are not looking good. I would say trouble in paradise, but Cleveland's never been paradise, at least in the NFL.
Have you been to Cleveland, brother?
They fight with each other on sidelines. It's real ugly in Cleveland, and they bet not get themselves together this week because my team is coming. My team is I think we're going to them, or are they coming to us? I don't know, but continue being trash, you know, as my team skedaddles right on through. They need to continue this trend that they got going on. Game ball is going to my offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. Going back home, going back to the place where they ran you out of town. Still paying you though, Raj. He is still getting paid by Arizona. And yes, absolutely. Dude, that's Cliff Kingsbury going back home to the there it is. Going back home to the organization that's still paying you and putting no can of whoop ass on them in their house. Right. Yep. And I like Coach Gannon too, but I'm sorry we had to do that to you. But Cliff Kingsbury deserves a lot of credit for the game plan he's laying out for Jaden Daniels, and going back home to play against his former team and quarterback, who everybody pointed at him like he's the problem, and he walking up in there and doing that to them is top tier, man. So yeah, definitely my game ball.
Get to these picks, week 5, guys. Can you believe it? As we head to October, as we are
Can we slow
technically in
down?
October now.
Can we slow down? Well, it is October.
Wish.
It is October now. Because
And we are literally a month away basically from the presidential election. So do with that as you may, good people. So prepare yourself.
Yo,
That's all I'm
Rod,
gonna
why'd
say.
you do the same thing I did? Like,
Yes. Week 5 starts Thursday. We got another good Thursday night game on Prime, guys. First place in the NFC South, Buccaneers, Falcons.
I'm going with the Buccaneers.
ooh, the Falcons are favored. Ooh. They're home. Ugh, short week.
Give me the Falcons. Give me the Falcons.
Dre, where you going?
Bucks.
Oh man, the Bucks is the obvious pick here. I'm going with the Falcons.
So 2-2. All right. We have our first London game of the season. Dre, did you get the first game? I just want to make sure if I move too fast. Okay.
I got it, my man.
Okay. We go to London, guys. Jets, Q, where you at? Play the Vikings, the undefeated Vikings. It's gonna be a tough game, man. Who you guys got?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
Same.
Oh man, if you think the Broncos defense is crazy, wait till you see Minnesota's. Your best bet is to change the scenery. Yeah, I'm going Minnesota too.
You know what? I think this is the week they lose because nobody's gonna expect it. I'm going with the Jets.
Fair enough.
That London game's always weird. You give me the Jets. Carolina and Chicago, I think we all know where we're going with that one. Chicago on 3.
Yep.
Chicago. I'll come back. I'll come back to the Ravens game. Any difference with we all going Chicago, right? Just want to make sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll skip the Ravens for now. Dolphins and Patriots. Ugh, give me the Patriots.
Yeah, give me the Patriots.
Oh gosh,
Patriots.
Y'all seem so sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, did you see Tyler Huntley tonight?
Yes, Tyler Huntley starting.
Ugh. All right, I go to Patriots too. What's the spread? Oh, and Minnesota and Miami's favored by 1. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'll come back to the other Colts and Jaguars.
Give me the Colts.
The Jags, between the Jags and the Panthers, they're just not. You can't put nothing on them right about now.
No.
Especially if Flacco's playing. I'm definitely taking the Colts. Why is Jacksonville favored by 3? What is going on with these lines?
They are favored by 3.
What? How?
I don't know.
Jacksonville don't have a win either.
Coming from?
No, they're 0-4.
Ooh. Yeah. How are they favored by 3? Is Flacco playing?
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
I don't understand that.
I'm gonna go Colts, but the Colts. I'm gonna go Colts. I don't know. I'm gonna go Colts.
Yeah. Yo, Byron might want to run to the app and see if that -3 is still up because I'm all over the Colts.
I'm looking.
I'm all over the Colts right now.
After losing to the Ravens, Buffalo goes to Houston. That's not gonna be an easy game. Give me Houston.
I'll take Houston as well.
Man, they got a bad stretch of like 3 games after that. So Ravens, Texans, and then they got another hard game coming up too.
Yep, I'll take Houston.
But yeah, Houston.
Raiders, Broncos. You give me the Broncos.
Ugh.
So everybody chose the Texans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody chose the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going with the Broncos.
Yeah.
And I think we're all picking the 49ers.
I'm actually going with the Raiders, but I'll go with the 49ers for the next one too.
I'm going with the 49ers.
Yep.
Same. Okay, Dre's going Raiders. I like that. Packers, Rams. You can give me the Packers.
Yeah, Mr. Love is going to bounce back. Give me the Packers as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Packers too. Rams got too many injuries right now.
Yeah, Packers.
Giants, Seahawks. we all know what that one is.
Seahawks.
6.5. Bro. Yeah.
Ooh, 6.5. Jesus.
No Malik Neighbors too, probably. Seahawks.
Giants.
Yeah, Hawks.
The Hawks. Against y'all, old boy.
Yep.
Good Sunday night. Dallas and Pittsburgh rematch of what? 1905 Super Bowl.
1905. It's crazy.
Give me Pittsburgh.
I will.
Same. I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one.
Yes.
Give me the Cowboys.
No Michael Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence. Pittsburgh.
They're out.
Well, Parsons is out. He ain't coming back.
Oh,
he gonna be out for a couple. He might be out for like a month. He got a high ankle sprain.
Yikes!
I just think Cowboys gonna win. I don't know. Monday night, New Orleans and Kansas City.
Kansas City until otherwise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed. Detroit, Tennessee, Philly, and the Chargers all on buys. Cravante, you ready to get goofy?
Yeah. Let me pull up.
Well, you missed a couple picks.
Oh, I'm sorry. We gotta go back. Commanders and Browns. I'm sorry. Commanders and Browns in Washington or in Landover.
Commanders.
I got it.
Yeah, Washington.
Unanimous Commanders. How many times have we said that?
Never.
And Ravens, Bengals. I'm going Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Same.
It'll be close, but I think the Ravens will pull it out. Now we can get going.
Of course. Something wrong here.
Hey. Welcome, good people, to Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time to let me tell the good people what I thought was goofy this week. And thanks to my great team, I have actually 2 videos to show where one of them I understand what's going on, still crazy, and the other one I don't necessarily understand, but they're all goofy nonetheless, and different variations of goofy. We have highs, lows, and all that, but I think I have a low level goofy and probably a high level goofy. But no matter the level of goofiness, we pointed out. So
stupid.
Jump into the first.
Just stupid.
Let's jump
well,
into
now that's goofy. Jam. Oh, jam.
There I go.
Gotta make sure you get your bells and whistles, brother.
Nah, for sure. I just jumped right into it. I didn't even think. I was like, yo, we all missing something, aren't we?
Oh, good. I'm trying to find. If it's the videos, I think I'm pulling them up. So go ahead, do your thing. I'm trying to pull them up on here.
Okay, we'll do the one with DJ Goofy.
DJ Goofy.
All right, guys. So we're all college football fans here, and on college football, I believe this was college football game day, if I'm not mistaken. But these guys get really hyped. In the that's it. That's the one. These guys get really hyped. All right, start from the beginning. These guys get really hyped, man. And sometimes they bring out celebrities, sometimes they bring out stars to see what they think about this thing of whatever game is coming on. And this time they happen to bring out DJ Khaled right before the UCF Colorado game. And this boy right here thought he was going to crowd surf. Well, now he thought he eventually he got over there with some help to crowd surf this crowd like he's a small man. And my gosh,
why is he back so fast?
Yo, because he's heavy. Probably, I'm sure he's heavy. Look at him. He wasn't ready for that. Like, he did a running start and then Raj, I know you saw that. He did a running start.
One big son of a bitch!
Look at the running start. Look at the running start and look how much lift look at the lack of lift he gets going into this crowd. He did make it. He did make it. If that was him going to the end zone, he would have got stuffed. He would have got stuffed. But he had some assistance from the panel and the guys that does the show. And he was able to successfully, with the help of quite a few people, crowd surf a little bit. And as you can see, they quickly had him up and gave him right on back because you know what I'm saying, you out here. You know what I'm saying? we was not going to do another one. That was not going to happen twice. Like we leave that right there. And I don't know who talked them into doing that, but very goofy, very, very, very goofy. And I can't believe the people stood there and watched it happen. I guess they didn't believe he was going to do it, but that's unfortunate. I wouldn't have stood there. Granted, a lot of people was probably stuck, but that was very, very, very goofy. And just him getting up there to surf is absolutely crazy. But so that was obviously very goofy. And shout out to Colorado for getting the win later on that day. But
4-1, Cravante, they playing well.
4-1, playing some good ball. Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter obviously leading the team, looking really dynamic between the two. So that's good to see. And they were 3-1. I think they went to 3-1. They were 3-1 last year, so they get the 4-1 this year. So that's good. So yeah. You got the next. Were you able to pull up the next video?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So the next one, we pretty much go from college football to the NFL, and the Browns are having a rough go at it, but the Browns are ultimately having a rough go at it because of the Browns. This is their own doing. Deshaun Watson, my gosh, how much money is he making? Just with every time we look up Deshaun Watson and the Browns are struggling, and it's like, yo, you're getting paid some good guaranteed money, and he's not having a positive impact on his team's performance or in the W column. And first of all, how many of y'all knew James Winston was on his team? Did not know. Not aware until this goofiness happened. Exactly. So I don't know if y'all know, James Winston is a character. He's probably easily the funniest NFL backup ever. And he has a knack for getting people looking at him like, what? Like he just be saying a lot of wild stuff, and in an effort to get people hyped up, he just be saying a lot of goofy stuff. And I did not know he was on the Browns roster, but as you can see, he was on the sidelines trying to it looked like try to calm some people down. And Deshaun Watson was obviously frustrated on the field, and you just never could let it spill over to the field, because now it's like, oh, y'all not just playing bad, y'all not even together. You know what I'm saying? On this, like, it's almost like they're almost resenting Deshaun Watson for obvious reasons, but it's spilling over to on the field performance, and they're like openly going back and forth on the field, which is never a good sign. And that's going to divide the locker room. And I'm not sure if Stefanski could do anything about this one, Byron. It looks like the Browns are probably going to end up being last in the AFC North. Just because I feel like the Bengals will eventually get it together, but the Browns are just always in their own way. And unfortunately, because I think Myles Garrett is a top-tier defensive player, and they had a top-tier secondary, but it's not working out that way. And again, I hope the Browns are trash for at least one more week so we can continue our winning streak as me as a Commanders fan. Because the turmoil is different in Cleveland. And again, paying that brother all that guaranteed money is crazy, and you just not getting, there's no return on this investment for the Cleveland Browns, and that's the goofiest part in all of this. maybe I think Byron, can they get out the contract next year? Or how much is left?
I'll get that number. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google that for you.
I think that he probably got 2 years. It's probably 2 years left because he signed it in 22.
Yeah,
so
I'll
this
get
year,
that information.
Go
right now.
Google it.
So I think the current year is year 3, and it was a 5-year completely guaranteed contract. So Cleveland, you got to find a way to get out of this contract at this point because he's not doing anything for you. But yeah, those are my goofies. Cleveland Browns. Sean Watson looking terrible, and things are just spilling over on the field. And of course, DJ Khaled crowd surfing, and that was it looked like a terrible time for the people that had to participate in the surfing of that crowd, the crowd surfing part of this portion. Y'all know my line. There's a thin line between goofy and great, and all those good people on the wrong end of it. Got to do better.
Oh, gosh, something wrong here.
What was DJ Khaled doing?
Oh, gosh, something wrong here.
Not playing the video? Okay, it is playing the video. Is it playing the video? Okay, I don't know if it played the video.
Something wrong here.
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool.
What was DJ Khaled thinking?
Episode 459. Trey, what can the people expect for episode 460, my guy?
We might have a guest next week to talk about the vice presidential debate. Follow up with that, and of course, more sports. A lot we still didn't get into, like the WNBA. We did get into some baseball, some college football, some NFL. So, and the NBA is also coming up soon as well. So, sports is just rolling right now.
Gotta love October.
Raj, we'll be live tomorrow. What do people need to expect tomorrow?
Just expect a lot of things. But we're definitely going to be playing the vice presidential debate. So we'll be seeing what the goofiness between JD Vance and I can't think of another dude's name. Tim something.
Walls.
Tim Walls, yes.
You be respectful.
I'm being respectful. I forgot his name for a second, man. I'm 37 years old. I forget things at times. Okay.
Your age is backwards.
I'm about to say that's what you're acting like, brother.
Either way, like I said before, we'll be watching the vice presidential debate between these two goofies. All right, is that better? All right. Anyways, so check that out. NXT. I think the new show
NXT on the CW tomorrow.
Yes,
CM Punk is the special guest referee for the NXT Championship match between Trick and All Ego.
Okay, great. I'm glad you know that because I don't really care. But yes, we'll be talking about that as well, and some other things. AW on Wednesday, previews throughout the week for Bad Blood on Saturday. And some other things coming up, Ravens content as well. You know how we do. Plenty of stuff coming up on the channel. Stay tuned, locked in, hit the subscribe button, and do what you do in the comment section.
Yes, Deshaun Watson is old. What is that? 46. 27. Looks like they can get out of it. I don't know. So we'll see. But I'm sure they probably can get out of it before then. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
And
But like
Byron as well.
StreamYard is acting crazy as we get to the end of the show. But
Yes, it is. It's saying get off. It's time for you to get off. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
They don't hit too long. So with that said, I will close out the show since Byron is being frozen and I am tired as hell. So everybody who's tuned in, I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for more, like I said before. We're going to peace it out. Good night. And we shall see you on tomorrow's show for the Vice Presidential Debate and NXT, the new season. So good night, everyone. This is your boy, Big Raj. Devontae right there. Dre right there. And Byron, who's light-skinned and great. And also our special guest, Pigstown Zone Zach, who joined us earlier. Woo! Yes, sir. Wonderful, wonderful. Stay tuned for more. Good night.